Hey everybody, welcome to the Pagan Perspective. My name is Angel and I am your Friday host. And today we're going to be doing some sharing. Okay, so the question is, wondering if anyone could give me any titles, some good books on Celtic pantheon, Celtic mythology. Feel very drawn to these deities and would like to learn more about them. The twist on this is if we know anything about the Celtic mythology and deities, we can share that. If we don't, we can share information on other deities or mythologies or cultures or whatnot, on the ones that we know, because it may benefit some other viewers out there. I myself don't have a whole lot of experience with Celtic mythology. I really wish I did, because I do come from a Irish heritage, and I really wanted to bring that into my practice, but I just never really connected with any of the Celtic deities. Instead, I connect with the pantheon, the Egyptian pantheon. Specifically, my god and goddess. My goddess is Isis, my god is Thoth, and that mythology, the culture, all of that, I've always been very drawn to. And the thing I suggest, though, about when you're trying to find a connection to a mythology or a path or whatnot, is don't get stuck just reading metaphysical books on the or witchy books, if you will. I know for myself, I got really, when I first started on this path, I got really into just reading anything that was related to mythology in, gosh, anything to do with, I read anything that was not of mainstream, okay? Any kind of book from Cunningham or what have you, in that vein. Just reading my witchy books. That's all I was looking for reading. And I got to a point where, although it's good information, it's not, you need to also read mundane kind of things. Reading up and studying about the culture of Egyptians in the old, losing my thoughts here, in the old kingdoms and such, and reading everything from how merchants lived, how farmers lived, the ebb and flow of the Nile, learning about how the peasants lived and how the pharaohs lived, and all in between. And there are different trades with different parts of Egypt, and different parts of the world, and the wars and all of that stuff. When you read all of that, you get a better idea, I think, and a strong connection to the people that honored and worshiped these deities and how they went about doing it. Specifically with Egyptian magic, it can be very specific, and you kind of need to understand why you're doing something, not just how to do it, I think. So I would suggest, I don't have a lot of references for Celtic. I don't have any, actually. As far as Egyptian pantheon, I mean, you can read Isis Magic, Ancient Egypt, Circle of Isis, Egyptian symbols, anything on Egyptian mythology, Egyptian culture, I would read everything. Anything that's mainstream and anything that's not mainstream, which would be, you know, in the metaphysical bookstores. I would read it all. I would watch everything. I would study everything. If you feel connected to the Celtic pantheon, then read everything up. Read on everything up on the mythology and the culture and everything from the wars they had and the famines they had to the good things, the wonderful things that they've done and still do and are starting to do in that culture, and what they've brought to other cultures and their trades with other cultures. I think that would be a really good way to connect with the people that honored and worship the gods and goddesses of the Celtic pantheon, and it gives you a good indication into why, and it also gives you a good indication because a lot of these gods and goddesses or deities, people see that they reigned over them, and you'll get an indication. You'll kind of get in the head space of those deities and figure out why they did things. And I really think that figuring out why something is done instead of just how it's done is a really good way to connect on a very deep level with that culture and those deities. Yeah, so as far as websites or blogs or videos or anything like that on Egypt, I watch anything on anything you can find on Netflix on ancient Egypt, on the pharaohs. Is very fascinating. I would read that. Watch those. If ancient Egypt and Egyptian symbols, I definitely would read up on. All of that's really good too. Karma! Sorry. It helps give you a insight into the Egyptian culture. Anyways, I'm rambling. I know I don't have specifics, but I tried thinking about, what I studied, and really I did a lot of research just on mainstream stuff at first with the Egyptian pantheon. Before I even knew I was studying it, because you learn about Egypt in social studies. If you have a connection with Egypt, which I feel very connected to it, you just are drawn to stories about it and things like that. So I would read everything, watch everything, study everything, and that will help you build a very deep connection and understanding of that culture, those deities, and that mythology. So I hope this helps. I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep this as short as possible because I just got my voice back, but I'm struggling. Anyways, as usual, if you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, please leave them down below. Thank you so much for watching. And as always, have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and blessed be. Bye!